Hello and welcome to Bleeding Tree Gaming. My name's Amy, aka Warpfiend, and today I am joined by...
I'm Luke, aka SirMime.
And today we wanted a little talk on the state of Age of Sigmar 4.0 so far, because, yeah, we just played a 2,000 points game on Monday. You had a tournament before that. I've only played the one full game, although I have tried Spearhead and stuff. You've had quite a few games of it by now.
Yeah, I've been running a kind of little introductory scene to people in my local gaming clubs and stuff. I'm hoping it takes off a little bit more in the local area because I'm desperate to play more games.
Yes, yeah. I think we could safely start off by saying that we've both got a very positive opinion of it so far. I super enjoyed this game on Monday.
Yep.
I ended up going for Maggotkin versus your Flesh Eaters.
I think I picked an army kind of like I knew like the back of my hand at this point to play just in case like I needed to help you with the rules, but for an army you haven't played before, like we breezed through that game, I think.
I know. I mean, like there was a couple of times at the start where I had to ask, like specifically, like how rules worked, but I think that was only the first turn, and I think I found it easier to keep up with the game than I have with any of the previous editions. Like,
third edition hero face stuff, I think was confusing you at the very start of it, but then third edition hero face stuff was a lot more complicated and. I don't know, like fourth edition hero face stuff is quite easy in comparison.
It was quite easy to get through, and I'm sure there's probably things I forgot to do. Like I don't remember ever taking a battle shock test, which I probably should have done.
No morale, no battle shock.
No morale. So I did remember that right as well.
God, and I even remembered that power through was actually a command that I could use as well. Like, I've completely neglected to use it in every game I've played so far.
Yeah, well, all in all, I thought it was just like really, really good to get through. I will say, like, my Maggotkin, I ended up going back to the Nurgle army that I've had for almost a decade now, where I first started getting the demons when I was collecting Death Guard in 40k, and that was before Death Guard got a faction release back when it was like you had a couple of like bits from Forge World you could convert, and
I say with a fair few proxies and stuff, but like, you know, it's all Nurgle looking people at the end of the day. It's
yes, I managed to get a full 2,000 points down with the two great and clean ones, which was immensely fun.
Fantastic. Only through like a completely unexpected combination of weird rule integrations that I had in my army that those great unclean ones started coming down.
Yes, you managed to do a fair bit of damage to them eventually, yeah. I think I was a little put off, like the army I started at the start of this year, Deepkin. I hear that's very much kind of a high skill floor army, so I didn't want that to be my first one I jumped in with. It's not really the kind of army I like to play in general. From what I've heard, I do still want to obviously finish the army and play it to see what they're like. Very much I've heard Iron Jaws aren't doing so well, so my Iron Jaws are currently in the box, waiting till they get a book and hopefully some updates.
I think like in that game though, against like Flesh Eaters, you might have been all right with the Iron Jaws, but they've got like fairly decent saves now, and I didn't exactly have like huge amounts of Ren coming out of anything. But
certainly the pigs are doing well, and our boys are always solid, if a little expensive. I think they are currently.
Oh god, I'm trying to think what points value they are roughly now.
Off the top of my head, I seem to have that. I seem to have remembered that.
I don't know.
So yeah. Also, there's the Stormcast Spearhead that I do want to try out soon. I've just got no idea how I'm going to expand that into a larger army yet. It was very much like, I love the force that's in the box. I'm going to paint that up and hopefully get some spearhead games in with it.
It's a weird thing, like there's almost too much choice of where you want to go with the army, really.
Yes, and I mean they have savagely cut it down, but there's still a lot of things to buy.
And then even more stuff on the way as well from like the previews we've seen recently.
Yeah. I have to say that I really like the way Nurgle played. It's just really thematic, like kind of as it gets through the game, the way the infections kind of build up, disease spreads around, and you're making more and more rolls every turn.
Oh, I mean, like, if I didn't have like kind of built-in kind of healing rules to get rid of those disease markers quite so much, like I would have been in real trouble that game. Although both of us were throwing ward rolls left, right, and centre as well. It was unbelievable.
Oh yeah. The Blight Kings particularly were like just a really solid troop choice, and although obviously they're quite slow, they took a while to get into some of the combats. Like I don't think I lost a single one in the two fights.
No. I think after a while it was just kind of like run away from them as much as I think you did countercharge them as well. Actually, you did like a really good countercharge to get across the map really nicely.
Yeah. Lots of bringing demons back as well.
The
plague drones and the plague bearers.
But how did you feel doing the new battle tactics compared to kind of like the last General's Handbook and everything that we had in third? And
like the battle tactics, like in the couple of tournaments we had, we were all right because I had you to cover my weaknesses. Like in the doubles tournament, that we did. But in a lot of the games where I was by myself, I found it quite hard in last edition to actually be able to do a battle tactic every turn. And I did actually, I believe I achieved it every turn in the game.
I think like neither of us particularly failed any battle tactics at all.
Yeah. So it was really close, and it was just down to the line that I think you got onto the objectives in the center of the board first turn, while I was still kind of like shambling slowly.
That was it. I think it was just literally those two side objectives. You just didn't quite have enough movement to get onto them, and then it was just. I think that was like a maybe 2 to 4 point lead all the way through the game, and
it kind of stuck like that the whole way through, I think. So I think the battle tactics have been vastly improved. We were quite concerned about them in some of the like lead ups when we had previews, but I think out of the 6 that you have available, is it 4 generic? No, wait, sorry, it's more than that, isn't it? I can't remember the number off the top of my head.
I think there might be 6 of the universal ones, and then you get like universals and then 2
faction ones. Yes, I found there was always something that was doable. I don't know how that would pan across to all factions, but certainly for Chaos, yes.
Chaos ones were really good, like the just kill 2 units one, like using that at the right time. It's really nice and easy. The ordained charge one's a bit more situational, but it's a lot more doable than some of the other.
Yes, now I initially thought that was a lot harder to do than it is. Now you have to read the wording quite carefully. Like if you're like me, you'll just have skimmed over it and not quite understood, because you have to pick an objective point, and you have to claim that point. You have to charge with 2 units.
And like 1 unit has to still be like contesting that objective and controlling it at the end of the turn, basically.
Yes. Now there's nothing that says it has to be the same objective, so obviously like this was the thing I didn't get. So obviously you can do it on 2 different objectives and still achieve it.
As long as 2 units charge, and then you've just got 1 like contesting the objective that you've then taken over, it's like it's all good. It's all good.
Yes.
My death ones against Nurgle, like choose a healthy unit and then kill that unit at the end of the turn. That was never going to happen against like your bricks of Blight Kings and stuff. Oh, never in a million years.
Oh yeah. So yeah, how have you done in some of your other games then? How did the tournament go for a start? I know you've told me a little bit about it.
Oh yeah, I went to Battleground Gaming in Birmingham for a little 1-day free match tournament with my Skaven.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I'd ever played Skaven as well, which made it just that little bit more interesting.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It was really good, though. A really good, friendly crowd. Just fun games. Pretty much all of them were quite tight games all the way through them as well, even though my list was quite diabolical. God, considering all that talk they made about shooting not being a thing in 4th edition, shooting is a really big thing in 4th edition.
Yeah, I think certain factions in particular have got a huge advantage when it comes to actually having shooting.
Oh, Lumineth and those archers at the minute, if you have the reinforced block of them, you're getting, I think it's at least 40 shots or something that you can do in both your shooting phase and the opponent's shooting phase, and they crit auto. You can get them to crit auto wound on 5. So I think when I did the Throne of Skulls in July, I went up against someone with Lumineth archers, and I was just losing a unit a turn.
Dear, that's painful.
They just had them at the back. I couldn't do anything to get to them. I have no shooting in my Flesh Eater army, so it's just I was just losing stuff constantly.
Yeah. And what other armies did you play against there other than Lumineth?
Well, the one on Saturday, I was quite interesting because the first army I played against was actually Stormcast, but it was all Sacrosanct Chamber type stuff.
Ah, yeah, so stuff that's all going to Legends.
There's actually some pretty decent rules on them as well. It was really good fun seeing someone cracking them out to play. That was the one game I didn't win out the day as well.
Yeah.
He was a good lad. He was just very, very lucky on his save rolls.
Fair enough. What was the last one?
Those middle game was Slaves to Darkness.
Yeah.
Bellicor and Abraxia. Then there were 2 units of Varangard, a unit of Chaos Knights.
That one sounded pretty powerful and not very fluffy. I have to say, Abraxia and Bellicor, different factions and all. They're supposed to be.
I thought I was in trouble going into that game, but I said to you, I actually failed that ordained charge battle tactic by accidentally killing a whole unit of Varangard.
That's a good mistake to make.
I just used one of those. The Warp Blaster cannon from the box set.
Oh, all right.
I love the model from the trailer and everything.
Yes, very cool.
With them in my list. And I just thought I'd shoot it into the healthy unit of, I can't remember if it was 6 or 3 Varangard. If it was 6, then he did unbelievably well.
Yeah.
But it was just I thought I'd soften them up before I start charging things into them, because I don't want to just die from Varangard. And basically, the Warp Blaster just absolutely annihilated a healthy unit of Varangard in just one session.
Oh my god, that is pretty impressive. That's a good tagline for it.
I think I overcharged him. He got the Scryer boost, so he was +1 to ret and +1 to wound. He had the 66 plus 3 shots. And ended up with something 31 shots going in.
Jesus.
He didn't even kill himself either, I don't think. Just
oh my god.
At that point, I was just okay, well, fail the battle tactic, but I don't really mind at this point.
yeah, that is fair.
But yeah, it was so Stormcast. And then it was Slaves to Darkness, and then the third game was Bone Reapers, and that was quite a really fun, down to the wire type game. That one.
All right.
I think I had to take the double at one point, very near the end, and there wasn't really much in the way of points in it.
Yeah.
if I hadn't taken the double, he'd have basically just sat like skeletons on objectives, and I would never have shifted him off them.
That's interesting. Like, neither of us took the double on the game on Monday. I'm wondering how much that's kind of the norm in this one. That's the only game in the tournament you had to take the double.
To be fair, I can't remember. I think there were some doubles played during that day.
Okay, but, yeah.
It's a weird one. Like going into the Throne of Skulls one just after the edition launched, I thought like no one's going to take the double turn now with like losing points, but I think like virtually every game I played, someone took the double.
Yeah, I mean in our game it was like I don't think there was any risk of either our sides being wiped out completely because obviously like Nurgle Flesh Eaters, healing, resilience, and that, and it was just so tight in victory points anyway the whole way that neither of us could afford to drop them.
I was like, because you were going second, and like if you'd have literally dropped a battle tactic, that would have like just guaranteed like you'd have been behind in points for the whole game, basically.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So yeah.
I'm really looking forward to doing more events and tournaments. Like that singles one in July was like the first singles I've done. Obviously, we've done doubles quite a few times now at Warhammer World.
Yeah, I'm really hoping they do another doubles for 4th edition. I don't know why they didn't announce one at the start.
It'd be great doing that. Hopefully that's the January one.
Yep. I'm looking at expanding my Nurgle force and get it to be like all proper models instead of some Death Guard ones in there.
Well, so you picked up the Harbinger, didn't you?
Yes, I'm looking forward in particular to using the Harbinger because prayers as compared to spells. Now we have this problem.
We had terrible hero phases, didn't we?
Yes, spells are very hard to get off in this edition. Like
that was like your one goal is you wanted the purple sun to come out, and it happened like literally right at the end of the game.
Yeah, it came on the last turn and then immediately got wiped out before I could use it.
Sliced up by ghouls.
Yeah, I do like the idea of having prayers in that, like, you know, you can save up the points. You don't have to cast it the first turn if you fail the roll. So yeah, I feel like I'm gonna swap him for one of the Great Unclean ones. Maybe get some of the Puscoil Blight Lords. Yeah, I'd love to get some of those models.
It's weird though, they're not at the moment. They're not very fighty, which you'd expect them to be. But then neither the Blight Kings aren't exactly fighty. They're just more resilient with a ton of attacks. Like
yeah. Maybe just paint up some of the regular demon ones that I can resummon if necessary.
Those flies are amazing though. They did actually get you a fair few battle tactics sorted.
Oh yeah. They weren't exactly like, you know, bringers of death and destruction. They both got wiped out, but like keep on spawning them back and moving them across the board.
Yeah, I was like. They took out like a Morbeg knight or two as well, like on both sides of the table, which is, you know, they're 4 wounds apiece. Like they're quite chunky to get through.
So yeah, I think on the whole we're quite happy with the edition. Obviously, there has been a little disappointing, if expected, news recently, which is as soon as the Skaven book dropped, all those Skaven War Scrolls went behind a paywall. It's just a bit disappointing.
I know they have to come up with a reason to actually sell books, but as well, when people are paying for a Warhammer Plus subscription, it's just absolutely ridiculous that like they just completely lock off everything to the army as soon as a book comes out. I know it's exactly the same in 40k. But
yeah, but like Age of Sigmars, historically, like all the War Scrolls have been free. Like all the War Scrolls have been free.
Yeah, like all of last edition, you could check any stat of any army. Basically, I think it was just you couldn't see like what artifacts and
like faction abilities and stuff like that were locked in, which was still kind of a bit annoying. But
which to me, like I found it the same with 40k as well. It's like you as a person that doesn't collect that army. if you're going to play with someone that's got that army, like you might want to go and check like what certain stat lines of things in that army are. It's like,
yeah, you want to see what they are, and I think
just completely cut it off is just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, even just to offer some kind of like extra thing where you can buy a digital, but like the rules in the app for like £2 or something. I think people would be happier to pay that than like have everything locked behind a book. I know people who are tournament organizers have complained that like they really need the easy access to the rules for their kind of balancing and things. And yeah, I just don't think it's the way forward for Age of Sigmar, and GW really need to kind of look at that decision, because everyone is now going to move over to Battlescribe and stuff like that, and just like not use the official apps because stuff's locked away behind them.
It is just absolutely crazy. It's just like we don't care. Just go off and find the rules somewhere else if you can. Like it's
yeah. So I think that was a bit of a bad decision on GW's part, even if it was kind of like inevitable, and it's probably not even like a creative decision. It's probably like the financial people like putting pressure on the studio.
Oh yeah. I'll say at the end of the day, it's all the people that just want extra money in their pockets. It's not like actual,
Yes.
There are some good people working there. It's not all just like the money hungry people.
Oh, absolutely, yes, yeah.
I think the thing as well with the Skaven one is more annoying is like I don't know if we've said it in a video before, but like they even announced like when the Stormcast and Skaven books were kind of previewed that like it's not going to be many changes between how the armies play.
Well, yes, that was the other thing. I think there was like 4 minor changes, and then obviously the new models, War Scrolls, and that was about it for rules changes.
I think a lot of people have said like if you've actually got the like the start of the edition cards for Skaven, like you might as well just use those for the units that you've got.
Yeah, like you can fairly easily just like modify the couple of War Scrolls that did end up having a change to them, and all you need is then like a couple of extra cards.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It'd be nice if they just come up with some kind of means to. I just find it absolutely crazy that like the Warhammer Plus subscription doesn't do anything really with the app other than lets you build more than one list.
Oh well, I think we can say overall like it's a really fun edition, and there's some really positive stuff, but obviously there's also a few like niggles here and there that are kind of I'm not quite sure if that's the right decision for GW to be making. So I'm excited to carry on with the edition. I'm looking forward to getting some more games in.
Yeah, we're meant to be getting they even announced, I think it was on something today, with like going on about the Skaven points are up for free download.
Oh, right. Oh, that's interesting. Now,
yes, they say that there is actually going to be a big kind of War Scroll. Is it War Scroll updates they call them?
Yeah, like an FAQ.
Quarterly ones, like.
Yeah.
They said there is one of those due very soon.
I guess we'll see how things change with that then. We'll have to report back to you when it drops.
Oh, yes.
Well, thanks very much for watching this. Don't forget to leave us a comment. Let us know how you've been finding Age of Sigmar 4.0. If you're interested in trying it and weren't really sure how it was going to go, we'd love to hear. We've got all the links down there as well, so check the description for Discord, Facebook group, Element Games affiliate link, and all the good stuff.
Yeah, we're very active on the Discord if you want to come and join us.
Yeah, the Discord's really fun, so come and join us. We've got a great little community going there. Anyway, well, we've been Bleeding Tree Gaming, so thank you very much for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.